Hi, thanks again for watching Your Come Up, where on Your Come Up, we talk about all topics to help you come up: business, finance, personal, spiritual, and physical. Today, we have returning resume coach Dan Lacorazza here to talk about how to excel in the new world order of working from home. So if you like the content we're throwing up, you know what to do. Thanks again for coming back, Dan.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Nathan. All right, working from home. Here we are, 2021, going into 2022, and we are still working from home. And I think that's the way we're going to end up going, or at least half of the country, something like that. So new work environment, right? Where are the tips and tricks around to talk about working from home? We all know how to work in, we're talking about corporate here. So we all know how to work in an office, and you kind of keep to yourself in your little cubicle space, but now we're working from home. And so we don't really have people watching over us versus where, remember that that movie called Office Space where the guy comes around the mug and he's like, I need you to work on Saturday.
Oh man, I was home on Saturday. I have to.
You don't have any chaperones coming around to check on what you're doing. So how do we excel in this environment? Because I believe most employers, they're kind of edgy right now. They're like, are they working from home? Like, are they actually working, or are they walking the dog, or are they, who knows, or are they playing video games? And for us, how do we make sure that we can build that trust with the companies? And then maybe a little tips and tricks on how to build that trust and still play video games, right? So, so I have a couple tips. So first of all, find ways to stay motivated. It's really easy to sit down on your couch with your laptop and just kind of nod off, go to sleep, or, instead of working, I'd rather play video games. So you need to find ways to stay motivated. So first tip with that is, like I have here, find an office environment that you can kind of sit down in. This is your workspace. You need a workspace. You need to be able to separate work from either play or lunchtime or sleep. You don't want to work in your bed. You're definitely not going to be productive in your bed, right? Because that's where you want to sleep. And then when you go to bed, you don't want to, your body will associate that with work if you're actually working in your bed. So don't do that. But you want to find ways to stay motivated. So find an office space, have nice lighting, drink a coffee, just nice and quiet for yourself. A place where you can concentrate on work and really kind of dial into your work. Secondly, time management. So figure out a schedule. And you can set up times where you're doing stuff. And if you want to play video games, you can set up, half hour to an hour to play video games, right? So, from, if you have a 9 to 5, so 9 to 11, get your work done, right? And then from 11 to 11:30, maybe that's lunch. And then if you have an hour break, right? Maybe another half hour for video games, right? So who's going to know if you're playing video games or you eat lunch? And then go back to work. And so and then the best thing about time management is that if you are actually able to get 8 hours worth of work done in less time than 8 hours, right? Because most salary jobs, you kind of close your laptop, go home, the work's still there the next day type of deal. Yeah. Then time manage a little bit better, get the work done a little bit quicker, and then maybe open up things for other things, open up time for other things to do. And maybe you have a side hustle, maybe you like to walk your dog, whatever it is, the time will be there and you can still get the same amount of work done, right? So those are kind of like, I don't want, corporates shouldn't know about this, but that's the cheat code, right? So if you're working from home, the life experience can get a little bit better. So working from home is a giant plus. I think that's why people want to do it, because you're not only not driving to work or wasting gas or wasting money, but you have time to live your life a little bit better. So Good tips on that. The next thing, do extra things to be able to present to the company that you're more driven than you maybe actually are, or you actually are, right? So get involved in more projects. Maybe if you have that extra time, like we're talking with time management, where you've opened up a new window, do something extra, do something important, and say, all right, maybe the company's lacking over here. Maybe I can pick up the slack a little bit and have it be an important thing. Like if the company is focusing on like a new technology or something, or a new idea, maybe dabble into that a little bit with your extra time, and maybe set up a meeting to talk about things, or maybe do some work that can build up this new idea. And then it shows that you're actually working well at home, and it's fun, right? Because it's not your day-to-day task. You have time to do a little bit of extracurricular stuff inside of the workplace. Sure. So the next thing, I'm not sure how many companies do this right now, is how do they make sure that you're working from home, right? And I know people who get their clicks tracked. So like the amount of times you click on the mouse, or how many times you type in the keyboard. So some cheat codes with that is to get a software that clicks it for you. So, and you can set up a schedule. I don't have any websites. You're gonna have to do that one yourself. But that's a cheat code for that one. But you want to make sure you're working, and like if they do track you, one, figure out if they do. So at some sort of evaluation, they try to see if they're hinting to the fact that you haven't been working somehow. If you're not, and figure out that your company is tracking you. So that's probably through clicks or typing. the tips on that is to space out the amount of clicks and types you have. So if you're working from home and you're good at time management, whether you figured out to get it done in the morning or the afternoon, all your clicks are going to be read in that time frame and then nothing for another 4 hours. So try to span out your work if you can, if you are trapped. And again, if you want to be a good corporate person, make sure that you just are doing that working all day type of deal. Like try to spread it out, make it look like you're working. Because I do know of companies who don't care whether you've presented work or not. That's important. That, it would look like you're doing the amount of work, but if you haven't been typing or clicking all day, they're docking you for that. I've actually heard stories. The next thing is, like, if you're more of a manager or you're not into data entry or whatever, set up a lot of meetings. We went through this, and my work from home experience during COVID was that there was meetings like I've never seen meetings before, because people are trying to build up these blocks throughout their calendar days, and meeting. And I mean, if you're under a manager, attend those meetings, do the work in between, attend the meetings again. And maybe that's the time you kind of slack off for a cheat code, right? Where maybe they're not that important, but bring up meetings and get involved in them. It's a good time filler, right? And maybe you can set up a meeting where you do go for a walk with the dog. You don't have to be at your computer, depending on if you're on video or not. So most of what I've seen, people are not on videos. I think when we first got into the pandemic, videos were pretty key, because the old school people didn't know what to do or what not to do. But then they realized, like, I'm starting to look ugly with this beard. I don't have a haircut. So maybe we don't use the interviews. So the next thing, just keep on creating work for yourself. Always have something to do. Always have something to present. Just keep on creating work for yourself to keep yourself busy from work from home. Lastly, be goal orientative and keep a tracked record of yourself and of your work. So, no one's watching what you do. No one's taking notice, really, because you don't have that chaperone. So create a list of goals. If you don't, most corporate companies, like the really old school ones, they have you do that anyways, and then you have to meet those goals. But create goals for yourself, and if you already have done that, create extra goals, and then track everything you do. Like make an Excel Word document, make a Word document, talk about what you've done to meet these goals. And that way, at the end of the year, when it comes for review time, you've shown that you've worked through your work day, and maybe it helps you for that raise or that extra bonus, because you can actually prove what you did. So I think that's actually a huge tip, because most of the time when we're working in an office space, we just assume people see what we're doing. And now we have the opportunity to kind of prove that we're doing that work, and no one's really watching us anyways. So That's a really important tip. So that's how to excel in the work from home environment.
Appreciate it. Thanks again for your time, Dan. And once again, Dan's a resume coach. So if you need some tips or tricks or how to strengthen up your resume, Dan's your guy. Contact information is in description. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.